Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to do a beautiful little necklace using products from the Bargain Bead Box, January 2021 edition, and some products from my own stash. So if you're not familiar with Bargain Bead Box, it is a monthly beading subscription service. This month we received $65 worth of stuff, 19 different items. They include gemstones, all kinds of really cool stuff. This one had dyed quartz, it had rondelles, it had head pins, scrolled medallion, a big one, 51 millimeter, chain, jump rings, chandelier findings, bicones, rose quartz beads, just all kinds of wonderful stuff shipped to your door for $17.95 a month. It's a great deal. Along with your subscription, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, Beadbox Bargains. You can use that over and over and over all month long, as many times as you want. And they have great prices. Lately, they've had a whole lot of check glass stuff and gemstone beads, just some really nice things in their store. And you get the 30% off however many times you want to use it. So it's a great deal. If you're interested in subscribing, I will put a link in the description box below. If you use coupon code WENDY2, it will get you either $2 off of your first month's subscription box or $2 off of your purchase in their store. You do not have to be a subscriber to shop in their store. So if you want to use this in the store and you don't subscribe to the box, you can get $2 off of your purchase in their store. All right, so we're going to get right into this necklace. And what we're going to be using for this is two of these toggle clasp, or these hook and eye clasp pieces that were in the box this month. Now you're going to need some head pins. These are head pins that I have in my own stash. They came from an Adornable Elements box a while back, but you know, they're rose gold, and that's one of the only rose gold head pins I had. So we're going to use those. We're going to be using these beautiful, I believe these were cherry quartz. Let me look and see to make sure. Yeah, 10 millimeter dyed quartz. Okay, frosted coral. Okay, so dyed quartz beads in the frosted coral color. These vintage peach pinky colored bicones. Now these are some frosted glass beads from my own stash that I'm going to be adding in just because I felt like they match these really, really well. And so we're going to use those. These beads are also from my own stash, but I got these in the Bargain Bead Box store not very long ago. I don't know if they still have them or not. They are a check glass druck, and they were like a pink with a gold luster on them, and I thought they looked pretty with this as well. Then I have a few little rose gold spacer beads from my own stash that we're going to use. I didn't think, because I feel like that the colors in this, the rose gold colors in the box were either like super orangey rose gold like this, or not very super orangey rose gold. And I wanted to use, so these spacer beads didn't, I feel like they matched a lot better than the spacer beads they included in the box. They were the lighter rose gold color, so I'm using these instead. I'm using two of these little filigree connector pieces from the box. And I'm going to use, I've got a couple of clamshell tip covers in here, a couple of crimp beads, and these are the vintage looking rose gold findings from the box I'm going to be using, or the bead caps. I'm going to be using those. And I've got a little bit of E6000 glue here. Here's my E6000. And I've got some rose gold Coriana chain. Now this chain is available on my website as well as the clamshell covers. They're on my site. And then I've got some just rose gold jump rings here. So I just have mine all mixed together in this container. So they sent jump rings with the box this month, but I'm probably going to just use these because they have some smaller sizes in here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my E6000 and I am going to glue this piece on top of this piece, but I want to cut off the top loop on this. Okay, so I'm just going to take my cutters and I'm going to cut this little loop off just like that. Now, if it leaves a little sharp edge, I just take my cutters and kind of go over it again. And if it's still sharp, you can use a fingernail file or a Dremel and file that down, but I don't want that top loop on there. So now that I've cut that off, I'm going to get a little glue out of here. And my glue is always dried up. At work, we use these big tubes of it, And I go through it like crazy at work because that's all I'm doing all day is gluing crystals onto things. But I don't go through as much here at home, so I really need to buy a smaller tubes, I think. But here, we're getting some out. It's going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to put the lid back on that. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to glue it with the little ring facing down onto this one. So just like this. Okay, just going to straighten it up. So I want these two coming out the sides and I want this one facing down. Okay, and that's how we're going to do that. All right, now these two pieces are going to hook on to this piece right here with jump rings, and I've got these oval jump rings from my own stash that I'm going to use. I only had 2 of them, but I think they'll work really good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and hook that on. My tools, by the way, are Xuron. Somebody asks me every single video. They're Xuron. I get them from Amazon, and it's spelled Xuron. Okay, Xuron tools from Amazon. I love them. They're the best. I've really like these tweezer nose ones. Now, I'm going to take the jump ring and I'm going to go ahead. I probably should let this dry a minute, but I'm not going to. And I'm just going to hook this piece on here, just like this. Okay. And close it right back up. So my coworker Mandy and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, except for I did this wrong. Or wait, did I do it? Yeah, I don't want it to hook this way. I'm sorry guys, I'm going to change it up a little bit. My coworker and I, Mandy, went to the Intergalactic Bead Show today in Durham. And oh my goodness, I've never been to a bead show before, but I had so much fun, and I spent way too much money buying stuff, but they had really cool stuff there. And I felt like I got a lot of really good deals. I'm going to do a video later showing all the things that I got. But I made the mistake of not taking paper and a pencil and writing down the prices, what I paid for things, because they didn't really have prices on everything. It was kind of like, if you buy this many strands, you get this much off. And so I ended up, I think I can go back and remember, but I don't know that I totally can. But I am going to do a video later showing what I got, because I got some really pretty different things. So let's go ahead and close this one up. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've created a little component right here. Now, I really liked these beads. I thought they were so pretty, and I wanted to do just a simple, nothing mega, you know, like with a whole lot going on here. I wanted to do just a simple dangle on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bead cap, and I bet this bead cap's going to, yep, fall right off the end of that head pin. So let me do a spacer bead, and then the bead cap, and then this beautiful quartz bead. I thought these were so pretty. And then another bead cap. And then I think I'm just going to do, maybe I'll do the bicone. Yeah, that's pretty. And the little spacer bead on top. That's pretty. Or do I want to do this druck? And the spacer bead on top. Huh. I'm not sure. I kind of like the bicone. But I would like to have the druck in there too, because I'm going to try to pull it up into the... It's going to be on the top, so I kind of want to have it on the bottom. But no, I don't like that at all. Maybe the druck and then the bicone. I'm just trying them, and then we'll see. If it doesn't work, then... That's not bad. Let me see here. That's kind of cool. Okay, we're going to go with this. So I am going to make a 90-degree angle. Do I want to do a wrap loop here? I think I may. I think I may do a wrap loop, because this is a pretty long... I don't do a lot of wrap loops. I don't always like how they turn out looking. Sometimes I think they're just too messy, but I think I want to in this one. So I'm just going to grab my pliers. Those are my cutters. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. And I'm going to try to do it. There we go. Kind of neatly. I don't really want it to be a messy, messy loop. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take my cutters and I'm just going to trim this off. And if you've got any sticking out there, like I do right here, just take it and tuck it. And there we have a pretty little dangle. I like that. So I am going to take a jump ring. Grab my jump rings. Not a huge jump ring, a small jump ring is what I want to use. Yeah, this tiny one. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach it. Right on here. Okay. So there's what we've got. Oh, I like it. I could hang a couple from there if I wanted to. I may actually do that. I hadn't thought about doing that, but I may do that. It's actually would probably look pretty good just to do the smaller bead or the chunkier bead. So maybe the spacer bead, maybe just this. Let me see what that would look like in another of these spacers. I may end up doing that. Okay, well, I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so what I am going to do is I want to do a couple of beaded sides on here. So I'm going to take my Coriana chain and I want to measure up the sides, and I'm going to do probably 10 inches of chain on each side. I don't want this to be super long. So yeah, I think, well, maybe I'm going to go 11 inches on each side because I don't want it to be too short either. So I'm going to do 11 inches per side, and I can always put a extender on if I need to. But here's my one side. Got my ruler down here, and I'm just measuring this. Okay, and here's my other side. Now, the way that you attach this on is you take a clamshell tip and a crimp bead. So I'm going to put my clamshell right onto my Coriana chain first. Then I'm going to put my crimp bead on. And I know my crimp beads aren't rose gold, but it's not going to matter because they're not going to show. And then you just take your pliers and mash it down. Make sure it's secure. Bring your lobster or your clamshell down and close it up. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these open tip clamshells, but I can't seem to find them in rose gold in the closed. So I just take this and I do it like a loop. I just roll it under like that, you know, 2 or 3 is a couple of times if I can get it to roll around a couple of times. And then I'm just going to connect it on there with a jump ring. And I'll do the other side here and then we'll connect them on. I'm not really a big fan of those open loop. I really don't understand the purpose of them. It would seem so much more secure to do a closed loop on there. I can't understand why you would ever want there to be an open loop on your clamshell cover, but apparently it's a thing because I can't seem to find the rose gold ones in the closed loop. Okay, there we go. Again, I'm just going to move it down, take my round nose, well, let me close it first, close it up, and then take my round nose pliers and roll it under, and down. All right, so now I'm just going to take a jump ring. Got a couple of fairly good sized ones for this because this is kind of a big loop. Actually, I wonder if the size smaller would work. I like to use the smallest size jump rings that I can. I don't like them to be huge. So maybe that smaller size down. We'll try it and see if it'll work. So here's a couple of them. All right. Get my pliers over here. And we're just going to attach this right on to the filigree piece. Or not the filigree piece, the hook and eye piece. Okay, just like that. Now, it's going to look just like that. I'm going to do the same one on the other side, same way on the other side. Okay, and we're just going to close it up just like that. All right, so here this is. Now I'm just going to bead on these. This Coriana chain is absolutely beautiful. You can bead right on it, and I love to bead right on it, in fact, because I think it's so pretty. Let's put these over here. Okay, so I'm going to start out with a spacer bead on each side. Okay, then I'm going to do a bicone on each side. And then I'm going to do one of the big beads. I think I will use the bead caps up here. So my coworker Mandy, that I was telling you about, that I went to the bead show with, I'm trying to talk her into starting her own YouTube channel. And so she recorded a video. She makes some of the coolest things, you guys. I mean, she's really creative and really good at what she does. And so I'm so hoping that she will start her own YouTube channel. And if she does, I'm going to be promoting her on here. And I want you guys all to go subscribe to her. She makes some really cool stuff. So she told me she filmed a video last night, but she's going to send it to me and let me see it. So she's amazing. Alright, so let's put a couple more little spacer on here on each side. You can do this however you want. I'm just, you know, kind of making it how I think is pretty. I love these color of these coral beads. They're just beautiful. Okay, let's see. Now I think I'll do another bicone. I might just repeat the pattern that I just did. That's probably what I'm going to do here. Just repeat it with bicone, bead cap. Oh, let me see if I have more bead caps. Yeah, I didn't send enough bead caps this time. Okay, well, I don't have more of these bead caps, so I'll just go ahead and do the bead just plain. I'll just do it plain. It'll be okay. Yeah, I hate that. I wish they would have sent more bead caps. Okay, just like that. And then we'll do, let's see, we'll do the druck next. And the spacer bead. I've got E6000 on my hand now, my finger. Okay. Do the druck and the spacer bead again. Okay, so that is pretty, and That may be where I stop it, because I don't like to bead all the way up the chain on this. I think the Coriana chain is beautiful, and I like for it to show. I think it's just elegant and classy. But I do feel like this needs a couple little dangles here, and actually I may just do a couple of smaller. I think that'll look better. I didn't really like the large bead again. So let me do a spacer bead, this little druck, another spacer, or I may do a bicone. Let's see what that would look like. Yeah, that looks pretty. And another spacer. That looks good, but this spacer bead is weird. He's bigger than the rest of them. Let's fix that. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll look better, actually. So let's go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and do a wrapped loop, just like I did on the other one. This head bends a little, feels a little thicker to me. And it broke. Wow, okay. See if I can get it wrapped around enough times. There we go. Guess I was tough on it, wasn't I? Okay, let's go ahead and trim it off. And tuck in any little piece. It doesn't look like it's got much sticking out on this one. Okay, so if I go ahead and hang this from a jump ring right here, it's going to hang right about like that. I think I like that. I think it needed that. It didn't look quite right with just the... And so I'm just going to go ahead and attach this with a jump ring. It seems like a really thick jump ring for some reason. It's hard to get open. Wow, that is a thick jump ring. Okay. Now, you will need to make sure that this hook and eye part right here is closed up really good. So just take your pliers and close that. And you may have to bend it a little to, yeah, but you don't want that, your jump ring to come off of there. And you can do that with both of these. You can just take them and kind of bend it like that and it'll close up. Okay, so let's make one more of these. So I'm going to do my spacer bead, my druck, my bicone, and my other spacer, just like this. Same thing, just going to make a little wrapped loop. Okay, cut this flush right here and tuck it in if it needs it and attach it with a jump ring. Yeah, I think it definitely needed the two other dangles. It looked funny by itself for some reason. Okay, so there's what we've got. I think that's really cute. Alright, so now we're going to finish our ends here of our chain. And I am going to take these little crimp beads, I'm going to go ahead and put them on here and let them drop down. And I'm going to crimp this just so these beads don't slide all over the place. I'm not going to crimp it super tight. I've got to give them, I want them to have a little room for movement, but I don't want them sliding up and down the chain all the time. So I'm just going to do that real quick and then we'll finish the necklace. I don't always do this with the Coriana chain. I don't always crimp the beads in place, but I think with this one, I think it would just be better if they're not floating everywhere. Okay. All right, now I need to grab 2 more crimp beads because I had those set aside for my closure. And it won't matter which color I use in the closure because they're not going to show, but I am going to try to grab the little copper ones anyway. I don't have any rose gold crimp beads at all. Okay. Alright, so the way we finish this off, it's really simple, and I didn't even tell you needed a clasp, but yeah, we need a lobster clasp or something. You can use any kind of clasp you want. I'm going to use a lobster clasp. That's kind of important. I didn't even think about it. Okay, easy enough fix though. Okay, so same thing as we did below. We're just going to take the clamshell cover and put our clamshell on first, and then our crimp bead, like this. Crimp this little thing down. Okay, and then just close the clamshell over top of it. And then I'm just going to take the loop and roll it up, just like that. Same thing over here. Clamshell cover. And crimp bead. Alright, we're going to scoot this up and crimp it. Close up our clamshell. And roll up our loop here. Alright, so now we just need to add our clasp. So I've got a little jump ring here for my lobster to clasp onto. We're just going to put it right on here. And then I'm just going to put my lobster on my other one with a smaller jump ring. And just like this. And there we have it. There is our little necklace using the hook and eye clasps as a focal. I think it turned out cute. So let me put it on a form and I will bring you right back and show it to you. Okay, so here's our cute little necklace using products from the Bargain Bead Box, January 2021, and the theme is Roses Are Pink. So I think it turned out really pretty. Sorry, it's having trouble. My camera seems to be having issues. Let me turn that light away. Yeah, I don't know. It's having trouble seeing it very well, but there it is. That's how it turned out, and I like it. Oh, there we go. I think it's really, really cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!